Hi everyone, it's Tony Tonkin here from Things That Matter. Glad you could be with me to have a brief chat to you about something that is of concern to me. And it's one of those things, I guess, where we need to acknowledge that, this is one of those things that does matter. Now, some times ago, I'd been watching a woman on Facebook by the name of Karen Brewer talk about things that I thought were stupid, that were filled with conspiracy theories. She had ideas which were founded on no substance, no facts whatsoever. And I was concerned that there were people that I knew of who were being sucked in to the things that this woman was talking about. And I knew that her information was incorrect because you just needed to look at what she was saying to know that it frankly didn't make any sense whatsoever. So I'd mentioned her before, and I had kind of warned people, I think, about not taking any notice of what it is that Karen was saying. But when I looked at her Facebook site, which would post these live feeds that Karen was sending, I was disturbed by the number of people that were logging in, the number of people that were agreeing to what she said, and I was primarily concerned about the allegations she was making about other people that were completely unfounded. And so I was rather pleased, though, when last week I noticed that Media Watch on the ABC had taken the issue up. Now, I knew about this. I knew about it prior to Media Watch taking it up because I'd read it in the paper, but that Karen had actually slandered a couple of people in Mildura. Respectable individuals working in their community, as I understand it, doing some really good work around families and kids, and doing work that I certainly would support as part of the Riley Foundation, or particularly as part of the Child Protection Party. And but it was disturbing, I guess, to see that she was just attacking people. And I guess the frustrating thing was that she seemed to be able to get away with it, that no one seemed to pull her up, that people accepted what she was saying as being some element of truth, and in actual fact it was founded on no substantive perspective at all. It was just her perspective. And I don't know where in the world she came up with some of the ideas, but I think what primarily pushed her and that motivated her was the number of views that she had and the number of people that agreed with her. And I want to point out that it's really dangerous for us to accept what anybody says. Like I don't think that necessarily people need to accept what I say about anything at all. But what we can do is we can listen to an opinion, we can dissect that opinion based on our own understandings, and we can go and seek further facts to find out whether or not what that person is saying has any element of truth whatsoever. But be wary of those people that make allegations against others when there are no substantive facts. Now, I've noticed that since the US election has been in full swing, there have been some interesting posts on my Facebook page in relation to Donald Trump and others. When I've fact-checked some of that stuff, I've found that it was completely unfounded whatsoever. And there have been occasions where I've actually responded to some of those posts and then discovered that the response I'm getting wasn't the one I anticipated, and I assumed it was coming from a bot or some other form of algorithm that was responding to me. So we need to be a little bit careful about how we engage on social media, and we need to be a little bit careful, I guess, about who we're listening to. And for those people, which aren't of a great number, I admit, that kind of watch Things That Matter, you may be sceptical a little bit about some of the things that we say here. and that's fair enough. I think that it's important that we have an inquiring mind, that we do wonder about what is the truth, and we need to make sure that our version of the truth, even though it's based on our own principles and values, is also analysed. That there are biases that we all carry with us, and that we need to ensure that we are aware of those biases and how they impact and influence some of the decisions that we make and some of the things that we say. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to play to you a bit of what Media Watch presented in relation to Karen Brewer, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Crazy payout for some crazy allegations.
Court awards $875,000 in damages for delusional social media posts.
Crazy payout for some crazy allegations.
Court awards $875,000 in damages for delusional social media posts.
In what must surely be a record award for social media defamation, a notorious Australian conspiracy theorist, Karen Brewer, who is now said to be in New Zealand, has been ordered to pay close to $1 million in damages for claiming that the National Party MP for Mildura, Dr Anne Webster, and her GP husband Philip were part of a secret pedophile ring. So, who is the accuser?
Hello, Australia. My name is Karen Brewer. I am not a member of any political party, organisation or group. It's just me.
In 7 posts and videos published on Facebook in April and May, Karen Brewer accused the Websters and their charity Zoe Support, which looks after young mothers, of being part of a secretive criminal network involved in the sexual abuse of children. The claims were false and indefensible, the court found, and Brewer's conduct was disgraceful and inexplicable. Her Facebook page, which had several thousand followers, has now been taken down, but according to The Guardian, it was
a petri dish of beguiling theories and vicious abuse.
With Brewer railing against
vaccinations, fluoride, and the cabal of Freemasons she believes controls Australia's parliament, judiciary, media and bureaucracy as part of an extensive pedophile protection racket.
But on YouTube and BitChute, you can still get a taste of what Brewer was serving up, like this tirade against the COVID lockdown back in April.
Australia, wake up. We have Scott Morrison suspending Parliament till August. Now they're running around making all sorts of fucking rules and regulations. Nobody's asking you. You're locked in your fucking homes. You know, everyone's restricted from even going down to the beach for a fucking walk. Hello? Hello? For God's sake.
But Brewer's favourite topic is to allege that a host of Australian politicians, judges, policemen and journalists are pedophiles. And in videos like this one from last November, which is still up on the net, she named them and their alleged hangouts by the score.
Both are pedophile HQs, I believe. Havens for politicians, members of the judiciary, business and media. An invitation only, private clubs. And all sides of politics frequent and socialise at these dens of filth. Bob Hawke was educated at Perth Modern School, Western Australia, same school and at the same time as Rolf Harris.
Brewer makes some utterly crazy allegations, and while most people would just ignore them, the court found that some might take notice, and that
social media has provided Ms Brewer with a platform by which she is able to reach suggestible individuals who may believe her claims.
Hence the massive damages award. So, will the Websters ever see their money? Quite possibly not. Brewer did not defend the case or appear at the hearing. She is not rich, and she's believed to be in New Zealand. But all the same, the case will have some impact. Along with the Quaden Bales defamation payout that we touched on last week, in which News Corp columnist Miranda Devine got whacked for around $200,000, it'll make it much more dangerous to smear people on social media. And that is surely...
And I think that's the issue. The issue is that we need to be really careful about what it is that we say, and we need to make sure that what we say is accurate. And you know, the thing about Karen Brewer is that there are many people such as her who believe that that if you're a politician, if you're a judge, if you're a lawyer, if you're kind of any professional almost, you're liable to be a pedophile, and nothing could be further from the truth. Pedophiles come in all shapes and sizes, and they're not necessarily of one distinct profession. But what it does do is it builds on some conspiracy theories about pedophilia, which are just not true. You know, and it reminds me of the Pizzagate incident in the United States in relation to Hillary Clinton, and how a man wound up entering that particular pizza establishment expecting to find some sort of underground cavern in which these kids were being abused, and and it just wasn't there. And then there was, years ago, I remember there was a daycare centre called St Martin's, and again, conspiracy theories around sexual abuse within this particular facility. And they, the authorities in the end knocked the building down and dug below the foundations in order to find these mysterious caves and dungeons in which children were being maltreated. And of course they found nothing. And the people that ran St Martin's, of course, found themselves tainted by these obscure theories for the rest of their lives. So we need to be mindful that, firstly, I guess we need to be respectful of people and not put them down. And secondly, we need to be thoughtful about what it is that we're hearing, and to consider that perhaps some of what we're hearing is not necessarily the truth. And that particularly, I think the point is, for me, is that there are many people like Karen Burrell, and that we need to be aware of who they are. And even though, I mean, there was some months ago, where I stood up against Karen and virtually told her that she was just one crazy woman, there are many others similar to her, spreading the same sort of bile and crap as she spreads. And I think that there are people out there who are just, I can't think of another term for it, but basically they're just nuts. And I don't know, and I think that if they build some sort of following, it makes them even nuttier. I don't want to get too much into American politics right now, I'll do that later. But, you know, if you've got somebody that's got some narcissistic tendencies and that has a platform to be able to express their crazy views and have people listen to those crazy views and accept them, then at the end of the day you're going to wind up with a body of people who are going to follow this person to the ends of the earth and are going to declare some incredible love for them, regardless of the craziness that they tend to embody. So we just need to be mindful, I think. Now, look, I know that I plan to be able to put out more and more of these sorts of these vlogs more and more often. I wish to be able to talk about a range of subjects, not just subjects around child protection, not just subjects around conspiracy theories, but I like to talk about lots of things that impact all of us, and I like to talk about the things that matter to me, and hopefully some of those things will matter to you as well. So thanks everybody, thanks for being with me today, and if you've got a comment and you'd like to make a comment, please make a comment below. If you'd like to challenge any of my views, please feel free to do so, and I'll get back to you next time I have a conversation with you. Thanks very much. Bye.